Welcome to another edition of Dianne Andrews in Black and White, an open discussion about the issues you don't want to talk about and the arts you need to know. Now, here's your host, Dianne Andrews.
Thank you. Hello, I'm your host, Dianne Andrews of Dianne Andrews in Black and White. I want to thank you all in studio for being here today. I want to thank my YouTube audience. We've had great response from them. And I also want to thank TV Land. We're now on METV and Soul of the South. We were already on all the CW channels, CW21s, which is Cox, Dish, UTEL, Uverse, Direct, every place at 3 o'clock on Sundays. And we're also on Metro 21, the government channel here in Baton Rouge. And I hear people from all around the world even seeing us on YouTube. So YouTube, continue to watch us, and we'll keep bringing you the issues you want to know, but you don't necessarily talk about, but you like watching them. So today we're going to do something called identity theft. I did a computer hacking about 2 weeks ago, and this is a normal transition to the computer hacking class because a lot of identity theft is done over the cyber, over the internet. Today I have three very special guests with me, starting with Nikki Perry. Nikki, thank you for being here. Nikki is a talk show host herself out in New Orleans, and she does radio and television. Talk to Me New Orleans, isn't it, Nikki? Nikki is also an author, like I am. She's written a couple of books, and she's getting ready to do a fiction, a movie, right? A feature film. Thanks, Nikki, for being here.
Thank you.
And our person, Sergeant Brian Blosh, is going to talk to us about identity theft. He is a veteran of 12 years in law enforcement, started out with the parish, and now he's in financial crimes division. And he works on something called verbal judo. When I saw that, I had to look it up. And he does computer forensics, and identity theft is his specialty. And next to him, we have our attorney who's been here before, Kent Dejan of LaSavio and Dejan Law Firm. Let's start off with you, Sergeant. Tell us exactly what cyber crimes means, what does financial crimes mean, how you all are working on it in the city of Baton Rouge. How large is your cyber crimes unit?
Okay, we work under the umbrella of the financial crimes division with the sheriff's office. We have approximately 10 people in our division, and they work on all types of cases that deal with fraud. Cyber crimes is just a facet of that.
Which means usually over the internet, over the computer, cyberspace.
Yes. Cyber crimes basically is any crime that is perpetrated over the internet. But there are lots of different crimes that are perpetrated over the internet. But for the most part, they include some sort of identity theft. And so we deal a lot with identity theft.
How do you define identity theft?
Well, identity theft is the use of anyone's personal identifying information without their knowledge or consent, which is done usually for financial gain.
Now, I read something that this phrase, identity theft, was coined in 1964, and that you really can't steal someone's true identity. It's really identity fraud or identity possession, but we call it identity theft. Is that correct?
Yes,
Sergeant?
that'd be an accurate description,
So how much of a rise have you all seen in the last 2-3 years in identity theft?
Yeah, well, identity theft is pretty prevalent. The Financial Crimes Division works in excess of 700 cases a year in fraud. Of that,
how much lost money is that? Do you have any idea how it correlates to financial? I'm sure you do in the Financial Crimes Division.
Yes, I'm actually tasked with collecting that information. Usually between $3 and $3.9 million a year. And
700 instances. Yes. Wow, incidents, right.
Yes, and to be honest with you, more than half of that is individuals filing those complaints.
Like me as a person, it's not a business.
Yeah, businesses are usually around 26%.
Okay.
But individuals, for the most part, are the ones that are experiencing identity theft.
Nikki, as you know, is here representing someone whose identity has been stolen. So we're going to talk to her. And I heard you all before the show, you were giving her hints on how to get this resolved because it's been going on for so many years with her identity theft. So you want to talk to us a little bit about that, Nikki, on what they told you to do that you didn't know before?
Well, they gave me some good pointers. And the problem I had, I went to try to get a Dish account set up. And when I spoke with the gentleman, there was like, you already have an account set up.
And this was in Wisconsin or somewhere, wasn't it?
Exactly. And he said, we have an account set up for you in somewhere Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know where that is. I've never been there.
Right.
And 3 hours on the phone arguing the point, and it still didn't get anywhere. So I wound up still sending them my information, and they kind of got it straight. But that point of someone used my identity to get this bill, I still had that bill.
Has anybody ever seen the movie, the comedy with Melissa McCartney and Jason Bateman? Is that funny or what? Identity theft? Oh my God, was that hilarious? She happened to have the same name that he did. I think in reality she had that same name, didn't she? And it was like a man, it was a unisex name, and she almost ruined his life. He had to go on the road to look for her because, and I've seen some stuff on Lifetime, some true instances.
Yeah.
How long have you been working with, I think your payment card was stolen too or something?
Bank account I had to shut down. Literally someone just started taking money out my account, just bits and pieces, and I had to wind up shutting the account down and starting over, but I never really got most of that money back that was taken. So this is a problem I have. My credit report is like trashed because of 90% of the stuff that's on my account is not even mine.
And how long have you been working on it, Nikki?
This last 5 to 7 years.
And what did the sergeant tell you to do to help
well,
you get this rectified?
It's going to take some time, and it's things that I can do too.
Okay, what can she do, Sergeant?
Yeah, well, she's actually taken some of the steps that we were discussing. She has an alert on her credit where she's alerted whenever something changes on her credit.
Now I use LifeLock, and I've had them for 5, 6 years. And anytime anything changes, hey, maybe I need to get a commercial from them, because anytime changes, they send me an alert. They'll call me, they email me.
Yes, and those are the alerts that you can get. There are also some other things that you can do, as the gentleman was explaining, Mr.
Kent
was explaining.
What else can she do?
Well, she needs to stop the bleeding. And the way you stop the bleeding is, the first thing you do is you start shutting down all those accounts that you know have been breached, the ones that you think have been breached, and also, if you're not sure, close them down. Start a new account, get new passwords, and start again there. So it's very important that you do that, because otherwise you're going to continue to have the same problems with the same accounts.
Right.
As the officer stated, the second thing you need to do that's very important is go out and put an initial alert on your credit report. That way, if anyone is creditors are trying to look at your credit report, they know, wait, there may be a problem here, and they'll have to contact you. And that can be done on an initial alert, which is good for 90 days. And then there is an extended alert that you can get if you have a more serious problem, that you can get it actually up to 7 years.
Wow. Now, when we did computer hacking a few weeks ago, we talked about malware. A lot of that is malicious. You can get malicious malware that allows you to get into other people's accounts for identity theft. Have you heard of Zenus? It's Z-E-S-U-S was one of the...
Well, there's quite a few of those programs out there under several different names. But basically, the programs allow a hacker or someone who's trying to collect information for identity theft to collect that information from your computer. Basically, you either click on a link that's in an email, or you visit a website that you don't know has already been compromised. And the information or the program is downloaded onto your computer and then relays the information back to
So would
the
you
originator.
recommend, Brian, for people not to click on links from people they don't know? Because I get them all the time and I don't click on them.
And you shouldn't.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't click on links in emails at all.
Yeah.
Because some of these emails actually look like they're coming from the legitimate website.
And some, can they disguise them like by names of people that you do know? Seems like some have come from people I know, but it's not really them sending them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they
That's what I
can.
thought. That's amazing. What does the law have to say with this, to do with this? What can they help people with once you've been compromised, your identity?
Well, I think it's important for people to understand that this isn't just a prank. You know, we oftentimes think this is a prank, but it really has very serious implications on people's credit.
Yeah.
It takes up an astronomical amount of time. In fact, there's some studies that say that the average amount of time that a person spends on trying to rectify the situation is 170 hours. That's the equivalent of 1 month of full-time work.
Yeah, plus all the stress, not just the time, the stress on you.
That's right. So the first thing you should do is, of course, you should take corrective action in shutting down the accounts. But what you should also do is contact law enforcement. This is a crime. There are serious implications because of this. In fact, people that violate this criminal act, if they are engaged in transactions of more than $1,000, can actually be in prison for up to 10 years and fined up to $10,000.
But how many of them are actually caught, Brian?
Well, we close about half of our cases.
Really?
Yes, we close about half of our cases with arrests. To be honest with you, most identity theft, being that we're speaking about identity theft particularly, is committed by someone you know. Up to 70% of identity theft.
Do they come in and just, not through cyber, but just steal your credit card out of your purse or what?
Because identity theft encompasses a bunch of different things. It's not, it's your credit card number, your bank routing number and account number, any kind of ID, your driver's license, your date of birth, your name, even your mother's maiden name.
Yeah.
If someone uses any of these things in the commission of a crime, it's an identity theft.
Does it happen more, you know, they used to call these old sayings, they pigeon dropped an old person back in the day. Do they use, you know, by compromising their bank account, going to their house, stealing their checkbook or something? Is it happening more with older people who are uninformed of this, or is it more younger people who are on the computer, or it's everybody?
It's everyone. Everyone can be a victim of identity theft. You have, unfortunately, parents using their children's information, and the children grow older and begin to try to get some sort of credit and realize that their credit has been compromised by a family member. You have our elderly loved ones living in these facilities, or have people coming into their homes to care for them, and those people are victimizing the elderly. And then you have, you know, people that are just out and about every day. You go to a restaurant.
When they're in your home, they're going into your computer or in your purse, getting your IDs and writing them down and going to use them for identity theft.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you say cyber crimes, probably half of your cases are not internet caused. They may do it over the internet, but a lot of it is just manual every day being loose.
How they're obtaining the information is usually up close and personal. They then use the information over the internet, or they may even sell the information to someone else who then uses it on the internet.
Do you think your identity was stolen from someone you know, since you haven't found out who did it yet?
Well, I don't know anybody in Wisconsin.
But they don't have to live in Wisconsin.
They don't have to live in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I really don't know. You know, I thought about it, but I really don't know who could have, you know, put a bill like, you know.
But you had the payment cards I was talking about, more not just the dish.
I think that was more of a company type thing that they were doing, because I think the whole bank that I was using was hacked.
Oh, okay.
So
that's like J.P. Morgan was hacked and Chase.
So,
J.P. Morgan
and that
Chase
can
was
happen.
hacked.
And in those situations,
we talked about that in the computer hacking.
Yeah, those situations, of course, they're gathering bunches of different people's information all at one time.
Yes. In fact, the person, Steve, who owns Sheer Vista, mentioned on the show that there are websites you can go to and actually buy the credit card numbers. It's all public. I couldn't believe it. If you go on YouTube and watch computer hacking, and then after you see this show too, because you need to see that to understand what's going on here. It's ridiculous. Wow. It's upfront and open to the public. You can go buy the credit cards off the internet. I had no idea.
I think it's important that everyone do go and file a police report. And the reason for that is because you need to take that police report, and when you go to your credit reporting service, you can go over there and say, look, this is a legitimate, I have had a legitimate problem here.
When you file, you have a claim number.
Right. And so it's important for you to be able to do that, because otherwise, if you're just saying it happened to me, you have to be able to show some police document that said an actual crime actually took place. From there, what you can do is you can go through your credit report, and then whatever entries you are challenging, there is what's called a dispute resolution report that you file with each one of the credit reporting services. And then what happens is, if they say, yes, you're right, we should take it off, they'll take it off. If they say, can't we won't take it off. You do have a right under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to file a federal lawsuit to force them to remove it, and you can ask for attorney's fees and all kinds of other stuff.
If they have any money to pay all this to you.
Now, another thing a right that a lot of people are unaware of is that when a person is arrested or is charged with a crime, not necessarily convicted, but you can request that the police force turn that information as to the identity of that person over to you. That gives you some extra things for you to be able to do, in addition to taking private action against that individual to collect it through private
I'm surprised
means.
they let you know that somebody may be mad to go shoot them. I thought Jason Bateman was going to kill Melissa McCarty in identity theft.
There is a special statute that the Louisiana legislature did that actually says that if you fill out a special form and request that identity of the person arrested or charged, you can get it. Another thing that you should do is you should also go ahead and file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. You wouldn't think of that, but normally the Federal Trade Commission is a federal agency, and what they can do is they can take that complaint, compare it to other complaints, see if they aren't finding some types of trends here.
In different states even, because that's a federal.
That's right, and they
it's
can
a whole
also
nation.
refer you out to other services, so there is that as well.
Wow. There is so much going on, and it's getting worse. How much of an increase have you seen on identity theft in the last several years?
Well, I can tell you, being that we
700 cases this year, you said.
yes, it's not quite there this year. That's the average of what we have.
Okay.
But identity theft is on the rise. As I teach I teach identity theft.
And verbal judo.
And verbal judo.
Which I'm going to ask you to explain. Give me a case. And when I looked it up, when I saw what you did, I said, judo, okay, it's defense, and it's words, so he's defending words. And this is how to de-escalate an assault or stop it. Give me an example.
Well, basically, if I'm dealing with an individual and they're being verbally combative and they're non-compliant, for instance, you don't want to give me your name or your information.
Okay, ask me for my name.
Like if I'm asking you for your driver's license and
I'm
you
not
don't want to
giving it
provide
to
it to me. Well, ma'am, instead of me arguing with you about it and saying yes you will, or I would explain to you why I need it. Basically by statute.
I didn't do anything wrong. Why do you need it?
Well, it depends. If you're not doing anything wrong, then I wouldn't need it. But let's say I stopped you on a car stop, because this happens. I stop you on a car stop, and I ask you for your driver. I explain to you, number one, why I'm stopping you, who I am, and so forth. And then I ask you for your driver's license. Well, some people they don't want to provide that information, or they don't feel that they should. And so instead of saying, well, you have to give it to me, I'll explain to you that it's required by law during a traffic stop that you provide your driver's license, especially being the fact that you're operating a motor vehicle. And that not providing that driver's license is an additional violation of the law.
So you're giving them a reason instead of saying
Exactly.
you have to. You're
Exactly.
telling them why, and maybe they can understand a little better in their mind.
Exactly.
Why
It's
he
professional
needs this.
speak
Yeah.
in a tactical way of talking to folks and giving them their options. And rather than trying to just exert or show your
authority.
It's basically giving them their options and saying, these are your options. You can either provide me with the driver's license and we can get on with what we're doing, or you could be arrested. So, I'd much rather that you provide me with your driver's license and we get through this.
Right.
And so it's more of a tactical way of speaking, and that's why they call it judo, because judo basically is using the other person's weight and countering that.
Yeah.
Everyday speak is basically verbal karate, where we go back and forth with each other. So it's more of a tactical way of using the other person's words to achieve your goals.
Thank you, Brian. Let's wrap it up with a statement that anyone would like to give advice. And I think you've mentioned a couple of things. You want to sum it up real quick, Kent, what you would give to the public advice on protecting themselves?
What I would tell people is it is important to clean up things. It's also important
to look at your credit report, huh? That's what you're talking about too, right?
You need to do proactive things, preventive things. And one thing you should do is look at your credit report on an annual basis. Make sure nothing's going on behind your back.
Because I know I was looking at buying something, and I got my credit report about 2-3 years ago, and there was some things on there that I had paid off, and it had never hit the credit report. I had to take time and go and get, you know, the invoice or them to say that it had been cleaned up.
That's right. Buy a shredder so that you can shred your personal documents. It's very important because people can get access to your documents in your trash can. Another thing that you should
That's
do.
pretty prevalent, I've heard.
Yes.
In the trash can getting it.
That's right. Another thing you should do is don't do your business, personal business, in open forums.
At the bank.
If let's say you go out to an internet
Nightclub.
cafe and you're out in the middle of public and people are looking over your shoulder. Don't always assume someone may be looking over your shoulder. Do your personal business at home
So
in the privacy
always
of
be
your home.
aware and be cautious.
That's correct.
That's what you're saying of credit, because you only have one credit, right?
And always make sure that you're taking preventive action
Yeah.
to try to stop it before it starts.
What would you say to everyone, Brian?
Well, basically, keep your information, your private information, private. Don't put checks in the mailbox and raise the flag. Okay, that's the first thing that identity thieves look for, is a flag up on a mailbox, because it's telling everybody that there's bills in there and you're paying your bills with checks. So also keep your debit cards. Keep those in your hand or keep them in your pocket. Don't hand your debit card to someone to make a payment for something. If you're going to use a point of sale terminal, use it yourself. If you have to hand them a form of payment, hand them cash or a credit card, because a debit card is connected directly to your bank account, and that takes your money out of it.
You know, I said in the computer hacking show, I don't do banking over the internet where you sit there and do there. I have, like, if I have a mortgage, a regular payment every month, I just have them wired from one bank to the other.
Yes.
To eliminate some of that. Is that a good idea?
Yes, it is. It definitely is.
Well, Nikki, I think you probably have more that you've learned from what they
I
told you
have.
to do, right?
I have, and I think I can kind of fix my problems, you know, a little better, you know, and have a better understanding of what I need to do. So,
you know, I'm hearing more and more from a lot of people that they're having identity theft issues. So what I'll tell you, let's take their advice. You know, as I said, it happened not to the identity theft, but just looking at that credit report will save you a lot of time if you start looking at it annually. So let's take Sergeant Brian's advice, and let's take Kent's advice. And Nikki has learned a lot here on how to get her credit better cleaned up from her identity theft issues. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back. Thank you for coming back to Dianne Andrews in Black and White. We just gave you a lot of good information on identity theft. I'm interviewing authors, 2 authors right now. Nikki Perry, who was on the first segment of identity theft, but in speaking with Dr. Gwendolyn Honore, finds out she had identity theft done to her. Tell us about what happened at Target with Target Card.
Okay, I thought Target was all over, and then here I get a note from Exxon saying that someone had used my card. And so then I called the hotel that they had the name on the hotel, and the guy said, well, someone was here with their wife or whatever. And
Yeah.
I said, I was in Atlanta at the time of the card, but they sent me a thank you note saying thank you for a good time.
Now that's very brazen to send her a thank you note as they enjoyed her card in Alabama.
Right.
As I said, we're all 3 female authors with different kinds of subjects, but really talking about mine is Gummer for the Heart for inspiration with 25 vignettes from people such as General Honore, Bill Cassidy, who's running for the Senate, the mayor of Houston, Lola Falana, breast cancer survivors, people who've survived different cancers, and people who've been through bankruptcy and relived it. But my third man out is a fictional love story. And as we talk about love, Nikki writes about how to be your husband's mistress. And she also has your other book is you're working on you're working on He's Not Husband Material.
Yes.
And this is after her second marriage and probably soon to be, I don't want to announce anything here, but I'll just tell you the title. He's Not Husband Material, so you may know what's happening with the second guy. Okay, wise wives don't run. I definitely should have read this before my second divorce. But sometimes they wanna. I guess some of us run too quickly. Now, what does that mean, Dr. Honore?
Okay, being a Christian, you feel like you're a wise woman, but you don't want everybody to know what's going on in your home. And so I didn't want to run, so I kept notes and things.
How long have you been married? 30 years?
I was married 35 years the first time my husband passed. And I learned a lot more for this marriage I'm in now.
Oh, this is your second. I thought you'd been married to him a long time when I met you,
No,
too. When
no.
I said your friend, you said, no, he's my husband.
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you all been married?
We've almost 3 years in March.
Oh, so that's pretty new. So
Yeah.
the first one, Pat,
Yeah.
but you were keeping notes he was not the person you wanted to be with after 35 years?
No, I really loved my husband, but you know, you have problems.
Right.
But you don't want anyone to know. And as a Christian, I started writing this book,
Yeah.
and I didn't want anyone to know that I was having a few little problems in my marriage. And
But
so
you would
it
have
helped
never
me.
divorced him even if he were living now. You knew how to
No.
stay.
I learned how to stay by keeping my notes and reading the Bible and everything.
Well, let's stay over here on Nikki's side. I guess how to be your husband's mistress helps you stay a little longer, you would think, yeah?
It also tells you, it's a guide to tell you just basically what Dr. Gwendolyn is saying as well, but it just tells you how to deal with mistresses and
Right.
why husbands have mistresses. So it's basically just giving you that idea of, okay, if my husband is cheating and I think he's cheating, this is maybe why, and what can I do to prevent him from cheating. So it's just a little guide to keep you refreshed, keep your marriage fresh, and just help you in the end, if it's not working, what to do to deal with it.
But from your second marriage, I got the impression that this didn't work on,
Well,
on this.
no.
Everybody's not husband material, no matter how hard you
So
try.
when I wrote the book, everything that I do in this book, I did. But because I was single for 5 years and then I got into this marriage for another 5 years, and because it didn't work, it wasn't my fault.
Right.
But we all have
You take no
reasons.
responsibility for this marriage.
I take
you
no
sound like
responsibility
Darren Wilson
for it,
and
and
Ferguson.
that's the reason. And I wrote that in the book. If it didn't work, I would be writing another book. And it's
I saw
he's
that.
just not husband material. And that book will tell you why the marriage didn't work.
And if you had known those things before, you would never have married
would
this
never
man.
have
Because
married
don't
him.
we overlook things sometimes
Yes.
before marriage?
Definitely.
I understand what you said, but do you ever think there is a reason to leave, Dr.
Yeah,
Unlin? Okay.
there's a reason, but may I piggyback on her for a
Yeah,
second?
sure, please.
See, I tell the ladies in this book, you know, that a person who worked at getting your husband, that's a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all the rights to that man. You can walk with him in public with your head held high, you
That's
know.
right.
Right.
If he dies, you can sit on the front row at the funeral. You know, your name's on the program. You don't have to sneak in.
That's right.
So
Let's tell people where they can get both these books. Are they on Amazon real quickly? Because,
Amazon,
Okay.
Amazon.
Barnes and Nobles.
Okay, yours is in Barnes & Noble, yours is Amazon. So let's go out and get these books if we want to know how to get a man and how to keep a man. Thank you very much, and make that marriage work. Welcome back. At the end of the shows, I usually give an inspirational saying, and I tell you that if everyone lit just one little candle, what a bright world this would be. And so that's what I leave with you today. I saw this as a little girl with a show going off of the air. They would do this at every show, and it stood with me all my life. It's something about seeing a candle lit. So go out and make it a better and brighter world, your world, and all of our worlds. Thank you very much. See you next time on Dianne Andrews in Black and White. So go out and make it a great day. Thank you very much.